Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into the shadows of a seriously unsettling supernatural thriller. We're going to dissect a chilling folktale that perfectly blends human malice with ancient, creeping horror. We're looking at the legend of the Baak, a terrifying entity from folklore, and we'll see exactly how a story of simple, petty village rivalry spirals into an absolute bloody nightmare. Let's get into it.
Think about this for a second. How does one terrifying night, and honestly just a really cruel prank, end up bringing death to an entire village? That is the central mystery we're unraveling today. We're going to treat this narrative like a true mystery thriller, mapping out exactly how human flaws, specifically things like envy and cruelty, can act as a beacon for something truly monstrous. So how exactly is this dark chain of events set into motion?
Well, it starts right here in Part 1, Jealousy and a Cruel Plan.
You know how in almost every great piece of folklore, the real monster is actually invited in by some human failing? Monsters rarely just strike out of nowhere, they exploit the cracks we create ourselves. Deep, festering human jealousy literally creates these real-world monsters. Just look at the stark contrast between our main characters here. On one side we have Manoj. He's an innocent, hardworking young orphan whose only real goal is to open a government hospital in his village. He's ambitious, he's focused. But then on the other side, we have his three tormentors, Nitin, Prathamesh, and Mohit. These guys went to the city, achieved absolutely nothing, and came back jobless, bitter, and relentlessly cruel. They target Manoj not because he ever wronged them, but simply because his success is a mirror to their own failures.
That brings us to this heartbreaking plea from Manoj. When will you guys finally stop tormenting me? This really shows you his complete desperation. He's so focused on his goals that he's even ignoring the romantic interest of Sugna, another village orphan who constantly tries to look out for him. Manoj is vulnerable, exhausted, and just desperate for peace. And sadly, it's that exact desperation that the bullies exploit to set up their ultimate trap.
Which leads us to Part 2, the pawn's terrifying secret.
So here is the inciting incident, the midnight prank. This is the exact moment the story abruptly shifts from a sad tale about bullying into inescapable dread. The bullies corner Manoj and offer him a twisted deal. They tell him, go to the old banyan tree by the jungle pond at midnight, prove you're there via a live video call, and we will leave you alone forever. Manoj is so tired, he just agrees. But here is the massive twist in their plan. Nitin was supposed to go ahead, hide in the dark, and jump out to scare Manoj as a ghost. But Nitin's bicycle tire gets a puncture on the way, and he never actually makes it to the pond.
Picture this. Manoj arrives at this terrifyingly silent pond. He starts the video call with Prathamesh and Mohit. Nitin isn't there, right? Yet, as Manoj stands by the water, bubbles suddenly begin to rise. He drops his phone in absolute terror. A monstrous hand emerges from the pitch-black water, grabs his leg, and violently drags him beneath the surface. And the wildest part? His friends are watching this live on their phones, laughing, assuming it's just Nitin pulling the prank. They are completely unaware they have just fed Manoj to a real monster.
Things escalate rapidly from here in Part 3, the Baak's bloody rampage.
We are now in full-blown supernatural nightmare territory as the creature begins exacting a horrifying revenge. On day 1, Manoj miraculously appears at the edge of the jungle. But he's different. He completely ignores Sugna, he seems totally disoriented, and he reeks of fish. Then comes night 1. The bullies are hanging out in the jungle, drinking and eating fish. This new Manoj approaches them, absolutely ravenous. When Nitin refuses to share his food, the horrific transformation happens. Manoj's skin turns a demonic blue, his eyes glow red, his hair grows instantly, and he brutally tears into Nitin's flesh, killing him on the spot. By day 2, this entity just locks itself in Manoj's house and sleeps all day, a massive departure from the real Manoj's hardworking nature. And then, night 2 hits. The hunger returns. It breaks into Prathamesh's house, screaming for fish, and slaughters him too.
So what exactly are we dealing with? Let's uncover Part 4, the true reality of Baak.
With 2 men dead in these impossible, gruesome ways, Sugna finally connects the dots. She notices Manoj's bizarre behavior and runs to the village elder, the Sarpanch, who solves the mystery. Guys, they aren't dealing with Manoj at all. They are dealing with a Baak. So what is a Baak? It's a predatory, shape-shifting water demon. And the rules of this monster perfectly explain everything we've seen. It traps humans who wander near its ponds at night, assuming their physical form to walk among the living. It hides from daylight, operating strictly at night,
And crucially, it has an insatiable, ravenous craving for raw fish. And if it doesn't get fish, it will happily consume human flesh.
This revelation sets up a terrifying, massive dilemma. On one hand, you've got the Baak parading around in Manage's skin, driven by this violent nighttime hunger. But on the other hand, the Sarpanch drops a vital piece of lore. The real Manage is not dead. The Baak keeps its victims trapped alive inside the pond in order to maintain their physical form. This means the villagers can't just kill the monster. If they destroy it completely, Manage dies with it. They have to strategically defeat it, strip its power, and force it back into the water to save the real Manage.
How do they pull that off? That brings us to part 5, the Blessed Rudrika Trap.
To save him, our heroes have to use the monster's own rules and cravings against it. They need a highly tactical, precise strike. So the Sarpanch devises this brilliant plan, using the last surviving bully, Mohit, as bait. Step 1, Mohit sits out in the dark forest, roasting fish over an open fire. Step 2, that irresistible smell wafts through the trees and lures the Baak right out of the shadows. It attacks Mohit, shoving him aside just so it can gorge on the fish. But here is the absolute masterstroke in Step 3. The Baak swallows the fish whole, completely unaware that the Sarpanch and Sugna have hidden a holy, blessed Rudraksha seed inside the meat. It is literally a supernatural Trojan horse.
The reaction is visceral and instantaneous. The moment that blessed Rudraksha enters the demon's stomach, its dark magic is completely shattered. The box drops to the ground, screaming in agonizing pain as its powers just fail. Stripped of its stolen form and desperate to survive, the demon really has only one option left. It flees back to the depths of the pond. As it dives into the water, this thick smoke rises up from the surface. And as the smoke finally clears, the real, bewildered Manoj materializes on the banks, safe and alive.
Let's wrap things up with part 6, the inevitable end of evil.
With the monster defeated, the narrative arc resolves with this incredible, satisfying symmetry. In the immediate aftermath, Manoj is saved from his watery prison and reunited with Sugna, who basically orchestrated his whole rescue. In the short term, with the evil interference of those bullies finally gone, the government officially approves Manoj's application to build the village hospital. And in the long term, all of Manoj's hard work pays off. He builds the hospital, becomes a highly respected doctor in the community, and happily marries Sugna. It is a total, undeniable triumph of innocence and perseverance.
I want to bring us back to this quote from Sugna, which she actually said earlier in the story when she saw the first bully's body. "You torment innocent people, see how God has taken revenge for your cruelty." This is the absolute core moral of our explainer today. In folklore, supernatural horrors are rarely random. The Baak was the weapon for sure, but it was the deep, malicious jealousy of those bullies that essentially pulled the trigger. Their own cruelty engineered their demise.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to chew on. Does jealousy always lead to destruction? Now, obviously, we might not have shape-shifting water demons lurking in our local ponds, but this folktale serves as a brilliant, terrifying metaphor. Envy is a poison, and if left unchecked, it will always end up consuming the people who harbor it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next one.